Yeah. So over here you can see that C is nothing but set of all convergent real sequences, and we have to show that this is a subspace of S. And what is S actually? S is nothing but the set of real sequences. So over here our C is set of all convergent real sequences. If you want, I will write what is S is. S is set of all real sequences. Okay, and C is nothing but set of all convergent real sequences, and we have to prove that it is a subspace of S. Now in order to prove C is a subspace of S, now it is clear that C is a subset of S, no issues with that, because C is a collection of convergent sequences and S is simply the collection of sequences. So naturally every convergent sequence is a sequence, no? So thus there is nothing to prove here. So one can clearly say that C is a subset of S. Now talking about how to show that this C is non-empty. So we have to give an example of a real sequence which is convergent, then that will lie in C. But as I told you earlier, we try to show that the zero vector is there in order to prove that certain set is non-empty. So what is a zero vector of S? It is nothing but a zero sequence. So will zero sequence be present in C? Yes, because the zero sequence converges to what? 0. So since that sequence is a convergent sequence, that will lie in C. So I will say as this 0 comma 0 comma so on. Okay, maybe I will represent it somewhat like this. Yeah, simply 0 belongs to C, therefore C is non-empty. Note that this 0 is nothing but what? A 0 sequence, and no issues for subsets. I will say clearly C is a subset of S. Now moving towards proving the two conditions. Now we have to take two sequences from set C, and we need to prove that their sum also lies in set C. Now once I take two sequences, I will say let xn comma yn belonging to C be any elements. So what does it imply? This implies that this xn and yn are convergent. Now what is the definition of convergent sequences? So the limit will exist, right? So therefore limit exists, and let us call that limits to be some a and b. So therefore limit n tends to infinity, xn will exist, let us call it as some a, and limit n tends to infinity, yn will also exist and we will call it as b. Now actually we have to prove that the sum, that is xn plus yn, sequence xn plus yn also converges to some limit in order to show that it is convergent. And over here we are going to take the help of simple properties that you have studied in analysis. I will say note that limit n tends to infinity, this sequence xn plus what is the sum of the sequence? Do you remember how the sum of the sequence is defined? Yeah, so sequence xn plus sequence yn is defined as somewhat like this. Okay, so therefore I will say note that this sequence xn plus yn is equal to limit n tends to infinity. By using the definition of addition of the sequences, we will get somewhat like this. But you know that the limit can be separated over addition or distributed over addition. So this is equal to limit n tends to infinity xn plus limit n tends to infinity yn, okay, which is equal to, but this limit is a and this limit is b. Thus we have shown that this sequence xn plus yn also has some limit. So therefore this sequence xn plus yn is convergent, and therefore it belongs to C. So therefore you can say that this set C is closed under addition, therefore C is closed under addition. Now moving towards the second condition, so we will need one real number alpha. So I'll say let alpha belongs to R and a sequence let xn belongs to C be n elements. Now let us recall how is the scalar multiplication defined. So alpha multiplied by xn is defined as alpha xn, right? So we have to show that the scalar multiplication, that is nothing but alpha multiplied by xn, or this sequence is same as the sequence alpha xn is also a convergent sequence. That is what we have to prove. Now since this sequence xn is convergent, so its limits will exist. So we will call that limit as some a, okay, and I will consider limit n tends to infinity the sequence alpha xn, which is equal to limit n tends to infinity this is nothing but alpha xn according to the definition, and this is nothing but that alpha can be pulled out, right? So limit n tends to infinity xn, and this is nothing but alpha a, and therefore the limit of this sequence alpha xn also exists, and therefore it is convergent. Therefore the sequence alpha xn is CVT, and therefore this sequence belongs to C, and therefore C is closed under scalar multiplication, and therefore C is a subspace. Now moving towards the next example. So here C naught is nothing but the collection of null sequences. Now what do we mean by null sequences? The sequences that converges to 0. For example, 0 sequences there, 1 upon n, 1 upon 2n, 1 upon n plus n square. These are all examples of the sequences that converge to 0, and we have to show that it is a subspace of C or S. Now C stands for the collection of convergent sequences, and S stands for the collection of simply sequences, and C naught stands for what here? The collection of null sequences. And I leave it to you because proof is similar to what the previous example. Just instead of taking the limit to be a and b, the limits will be 0, and that's it. That is how you have to proceed. So this is homework. Now moving towards the next example here. Now V is nothing but set of all continuous real valued functions on closed interval AB, and we have to show that this V is a subspace of set of all functions on the closed interval AB. So the example is similar as the previous one, only the addition and the scalar multiplication is different, because over here the vector space is a collection of functions, and in previous examples the vector space was the collection of sequences. So let us recall how addition was defined here. So we defined f plus g of x as f of x plus g of x, and we define this alpha f of x as alpha multiplied by f of x. So this addition and scalar multiplication are supposed to used in order to prove that this set of all continuous real valued functions is a subspace of f. Now obviously the 0 function will be present in V, because a 0 function is a continuous function. 0 functions means what? Actually I am talking about the constant function, this constant function, 0 function, where all the coordinates are mapped to 0. Simply you draw the graph of 0 function in R2, and you can wonder that it is nothing but what this x-axis itself, okay. So that function serves as the 0 vector. So I will write here as this 0 function, let us call it as 0x, that is the notation that we have used, right, belongs to V, therefore V is non-empty, and no issues for subset. So I will say clearly V is a subset of this F. Now moving towards the property A. Now we have to take two elements of F, I will call them as two elements of V, okay. So we have to take two elements of V, and we have to show that the sum also belongs to V. So I will call that elements as F and G. So I will say let F comma G belongs to V be n elements. So what does it mean? It means that f and g are continuous functions. Now what do you mean by continuous functions? The limit exists, right? Okay, so I will say therefore limit, you might have seen this definition of continuous functions in analysis. So limit x tends to c f of x, in fact it exists and it is equal to f of c, isn't it? And limit x tends to c g of x will be also equal to g of c. Now in order to prove f plus g is continuous, we need to show that the limit of that f plus g exists and it is nothing but that f plus g of c. So what I will consider here? So I will consider limit x tends to c. If you want, you can be more precise. Okay, so this implies f and g are continuous functions on closed interval a b. Thus limit x tends to c, where this c lies where? C lies in this closed interval a b only. Yeah. So therefore limit x tends to c f of x is equal to f of c, and this will happen. So we will consider limit x tends to c f plus g of x, okay, and we have to show that this is nothing but f plus g of c. So this will be equal to limit x tends to c f of x plus g of x. Simply the addition of function definition is used, and now by using simple properties of limits, this will be equal to limit x tends to c f of x plus limit x tends to c g of x, and this is nothing but f of c plus g of c, which can be further written as f plus g of c, and that is what we wanted, right? Therefore f plus g is a continuous function on closed interval a b. Therefore f plus g is continuous on closed interval a b, and therefore v is closed under addition. Now the closed under scalar multiplication part I leave it to you. That's really simple. Simply you have to start with a real number alpha and an element from v. Just I will give you the hint, and simply you have to start with limit x tends to c, where this c is a point from that closed interval a b, alpha f of x. Just start with this and try to prove that this is equal to alpha f of c. Okay, so this can be done by you, right? So this is homework. Now moving towards the next example, here we have to show that the set of all differentiable functions on closed interval a b is a subspace of, again, either set of all continuous functions or the set of all functions on closed interval 0 to 1. Now we already know what a differentiable function is. You have already studied it in analysis. So this example I leave it to you. This is for homework. So that's it for today. So from the next class onwards, we are going to start with like addition of subspaces, intersection and union of subspaces. So we'll stop here. Thank you. Have a good day.